GMC. Brennan is expected to make an official decision in the next 3 to 4 weeks. Greg Matzik, WTMJ News.
And Brennan will be joining Wisconsin's Midday News today at about 12:15. 3 schools in Waukesha will be shutting down at the end of the year. The school board voting last night to close Bethesda, Hawthorne, and Whittier elementaries. Many community members voicing their concerns.
We still don't know the full financial impact of this plan. Repurposing or consolidating schools is not just moving students. It requires space, infrastructure, transportation, and special education adjustments.
Waukesha Superintendent James Siebert says the closings are due to declining enrollment.
There's budgetary aspects to that, but there's also educational aspects to that, and we think we can be leaner and ultimately continue to provide a great product and perhaps even a better product.
The consolidation plan is expected to save the district over $3 million. Governor Tony Evers signing an emergency order to help families in crisis receive assistance.
The order suspends application rules under the State Department of Children and Families. State officials will still verify eligibility, but it will be easier for those facing housing insecurity or other crises to apply for emergency resources. And they can list hardship caused by the federal government shutdown as a reason. Residents must be a caretaker to a child under 18 and earn below 115% of the federal poverty level to qualify. Jessica Gatso, WTMJ News.
Staffing shortages are the reason the Milwaukee Health Department has to temporarily close its STI clinic at the Keenan Health Center. Deputy Commissioner of Clinical Services, Jefflyn Brown.
Our clinic here is very, very busy, and so we're even looking at, okay, do we schedule a lunch break for everybody at the same time, similar to what pharmacies in our area do. Our hope is that by bringing on associate degree nurses, really looking at the folks we bring in, getting feedback from them, getting feedback from leaders, that hopefully we won't be in this situation again.
The health department plans to give some updates on a possible reopening of the STI clinic in the coming weeks. And 2 pitchers from the Cleveland Guardians accused of purposely throwing bad pitches in order to get a cut of the profits made off of sports betting appearing in court. More from ABC's Aaron Katersky.
Emmanuel Clase, one of the best closers in baseball, is due to surrender here later today. He's been in the Dominican Republic since the unsealing of an indictment charging him with conspiring with sports bettors to throw balls instead of strikes, often on the first pitch of an at-bat after he was brought into the game as a relief pitcher. And according to federal prosecutors here in Brooklyn, sports bettors placed more than 100 fraudulent bets based on those rigged pitches.
Clase's teammate Luis Ortiz pleaded not guilty yesterday. Time for news about your money and the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Red across the board. The Dow is down 308 points at 47,946. The NASDAQ is down 376 at 23,030. And the S&P 500 down about 68 points at 6,783. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com. Sports, traffic, and weather are next. Outdoor Living Unlimited. WTMJ News Time is 10:04.
They were talking about doing a few things to spruce up their home, and I knew where they were coming from. Sometimes you don't even realize it, but then it hits you. You've had the same look in your home forever. And that's why Jan and Bob came to see me. And I told them they came to the right place. Because here, you'll find a bunch of choices to spruce up your home for less. They had a stone fireplace with empty walls on either side. I suggested glass shelves. She hated their old bathtub, so I showed her our glass shower door displays. They had kind of a small living room, so I thought strip mirrors would really open it up. And after we priced out my suggestions, they were surprised at the bottom line. Wait till they see their home after we're through. This is Stacy Sinks with Less's Glass Service. If it's a new glass shower door, fogged or broken insulated glass replacement, or affordable glass and mirror home decor that you've been looking for, you just can't pass on Less's Glass. Less's Glass Service, serving all of southeastern Wisconsin. Find us at lessglassservice.com.
Artwork, especially original artwork, can be pricey. But when you take it in on consignment from nice people like you who are just ready to change the look of their home, you can price it right. And you'll find a lot of it at Design Exchange. Beautiful frame pieces by a number of notable artists. And new ones pop in all the time. This is Katie with Design Exchange, where discerning buyers with discriminating tastes come to find premium home decor at a value. In Heartland and Pewaukee.
Design Exchange.
Now these tend to fly off the shelves. But don't worry, because our connection supplies us with a lot of them. Vintage ceiling tiles from once great old buildings in New York City that make for ultra-unique artwork. These items are definitely hard to find from anywhere else around here. So come take a look, and you'll probably find a treasure. This is Katie with Design Exchange, where discerning buyers with discriminating tastes come to find premium home decor at a value. In Heartland and Pewaukee.
Design Exchange.
Time for a WTMJ sports update from the Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all sports desk. Packers head coach Matt LaFleur says it's highly unlikely that injured center Elton Jenkins will be returning this season. Jenkins was placed on the IR, which means he'll have to miss at least 4 games, but seems like that's unlikely according to LaFleur's comments yesterday. That means Sean Ryan expected to take over as the starting center. Packers visiting the New York Giants on Sunday. Bucks coming up short last night as they fell to the Hornets 111-100. Giannis did not play. That was due to a bit of a left knee injury, but he is expected to return tomorrow night, a rematch with the Hornets at Pfizer Forum. Let's take a look at the roads, your WTMJ time saver traffic. A couple of issues on 94 westbound. You're on the brake starting at Springdale Road until you basically get past Brookfield, and also 94 westbound. A bit slow starting at Layton until you get through the stadium interchange.
Traffic is sponsored by the amazing Mineshaft Restaurant in downtown Hartford.
The successful Mineshaft Restaurant in Hartford is hiring positive professional servers and bartenders. You'll make great cash. Inquire today. Start next week. MineshaftRestaurant.com.
And your WTMJ 5-day forecast. Sunny and mild today, a high getting up to 53. Tonight, partly cloudy, a low down to 38. As we head into Friday, sunny, breezy. We'll see highs tomorrow in the upper 50s and continuing to warm up. Saturday, partly cloudy. Could maybe see a slight chance for showers, high of 61. Partly cloudy, breezy on Sunday, a high of just 46. And then mostly sunny on Monday, highs in the low 40s. Right now, it's 43 degrees in Sheboygan, sitting at 44 in Racine, and 45 degrees in Milwaukee. I'm Neil Doyle, Outdoor Living Unlimited. WTMJ News Time is 10:08.
Broadcasting live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios at the Avenue. It's time for Point Taken. Here are your hosts, Steve Scafidi and Kristin Brey.
Psych! It's just me. So, for everyone who was a hashtag more Steve person, you got a lot of Steve yesterday. You get a lot of Kristin today. Steve, he is emceeing an event that he always emcees for Freightert, and this year they moved it up during the day, so he was not going to cancel his obligation doing that, but he's well, he is not sick, he is just taking the day to go do a really good deed. So we will be back tomorrow, Steve and I together. Joe and Bill are both occupied, so Steve and I are going to have some fun tomorrow. Not quite sure what we're going to do, but I think we're going to try to break the mold of what we usually do and have 2 hours, no guests, just he and I don't know, maybe we'll do an extended version of Ask Us Anything, TBD. But big shout out to everyone who made it out to our trivia night last night. We were at Revere's in Delafield, which I had never been there before, but what a fun location. The food was excellent. The staff was excellent. We had 82 people show up, which was very fun. And they weren't all just our teammates who made the drive from Milwaukee. A lot of listeners. I got to meet some fans and people who love the show, which, Steve and I never get sick of hearing how much people like the show and they like how both sides are represented and how we seem like we genuinely like each other, which is true. So thank you to everyone who came out. Thank you to everyone who played. And everyone who donated a toy or donated money to kick off our toy drive. So the next event, if you missed last night or Delafield was a little too far on a Wednesday night, mark your calendars for next Wednesday, which is going to be at Maddie's in New Berlin. And the hosts for next week are going to be Greg Matzik and Jessica Ty. But, you never know who's going to show up else from WTMJ. Maybe I'll be there. Maybe Frankie will be there. Maybe Steve will show up. But yes, so we're going to do, last night was the first of 5. And so you'll have 4 more chances to play, to donate, to come out and spend some time with your favorite WTMJ hosts. So once again, thanks for joining that. I was off yesterday And it feels like there was a lot of news in the time, in the 48 hours since I've been on air. I'm just going to list a couple of them, but there was a judge ordered the release of hundreds of arrested immigrants in Illinois from the ongoing immigration crackdown, which is big news. Bigger than that feels like everything that has developed in the last 24 hours around the Epstein files. The House is set to vote next week on a contentious bill compelling the release of all of the Justice Department's Jeffrey Epstein case files. But yesterday, the House Oversight Committee released 3 emails that were acquired from Epstein's estate that mentioned President Trump. And so those are different. What the Oversight Committee got from the estate is different than the quote-unquote Epstein files that the Department of Justice has. So those first 3 emails were released. Then there was about 20,000 additional pages of documents that were released from that committee. I'll be totally honest, I have not had enough time I've seen trickles of what was released yesterday, but actually wrapping my arms around everything that was in those 20,000 documents. Have not gotten to that. We'll probably wait until other reporters have a debrief on what they've gone through versus spending the time to go through all of it myself. But now the biggest news, I would say, is the government shutdown is over. We slowly will now try to get back to normal with flights and furloughed and fired. I think a part of the bill was that some of the fired federal employees are actually getting their jobs back. Obviously, people who are furloughed are getting back. Their paychecks will start to come back. SNAP benefits are being restored. So all of the things to try to turn the lights back on are now happening. But we'll see, because this CR only extends funding until January 30th. And so we will see if we have to do this all over again in a couple months. But the thing I am fairly heated about is the catch that was added to the CR bill in the Senate that includes a ban of more than 95% of all hemp extract products. Yes. So I'm not sure how much this has been covered, but a last-minute provision in the bill recriminalizes many hemp-derived products. So this reverses the legalization of the 2018 Farm Bill. And so Senator Rand Paul, who, from Kentucky, he was the only, no, there was 2. It was him and Ted Cruz were the only senators who tried to vote to get this provision out, but it did not work. And so, Jazz, do you have that sound pulled up of Rand Paul on the floor? Let's play a little bit of that as far as Rand Paul's attempt to try to get this provision canceled because, he has a lot of farmers that he's trying to look out for. Do you have it? Otherwise, I have it. All right, let's play it.
This bill contains language that has been airdropped in that will destroy hemp farming in Kentucky and across the United States. Tucked away on page 163, Title 7, Division B of this spending package is a provision that will shut down the hemp industry across the United States. My amendment would strip the provision designed to regulate the hemp industry to death. The bill, as it now stands, overrides the regulatory frameworks of several states, cancels the collective decisions of hemp consumers, and destroys the livelihoods of hemp farmers. And it couldn't come at a worse time for America's farmers. Times are tough for our farmers. Farmers' costs have increased as the price of fertilizer and machinery have jumped, while prices for their crops like soybean, corn, and wheat have declined. For many farmers, hemp has proved to be a lifeline, a new cash crop.
So I'm angry about this, not because I am, a huge proponent of CBD or huge user of CBD and these products. I might dabble, but my poison of choice is typically drinks because, Wisconsin. But I am angry because I feel like this exemplifies everything that the public hates about Congress bipartisanly. It was a provision that was not even part of the conversation over the last 43 days of the shutdown, and it was snuck into this funding bill by Mitch McConnell in the last minute as people were trying to get the government back open. And hemp is a legal crop. Farmers grow it for rope, textiles, paper, building machines. Veterans and people with chronic pain, especially in Wisconsin, where medical marijuana is still not legal, use CBD products that are made from hemp. And it's a last minute provision that is going to destroy a $28 billion industry, which means eliminating jobs, devastating rural farming communities. And it wasn't even a conversation. It wasn't a debate. It was just snuck in there.
When it comes to your money, confident.
Oh, okay. And that's actually we should get to break because I do have a guest who is a CEO and founder of a local Milwaukee area CBD company who we're going to talk to him about, because he's been doing a lot of advocating in D.C. and in Madison over the attempt to ban hemp products and why that is misguided and why there's need for regulation but not an outright ban. So we'll talk to him after this on Point Taken.
Hey, this is Steve Scafidi for Advent. I had some snoring issues that kept my wife up at night. That led to poor sleep and a lot of tired mornings on the radio, and nobody wants that, trust me. But it's simply, my nose wasn't working the way it should. I decided to go to Advent for a quick 30-minute visit, one of their great facilities, talk to a bunch of their doctors. They really put me at ease. After a really simple sleep study at home, in my own bed, they determined the root cause of my problem had to do with my sinuses and nasal passages in my breathing triangle. I didn't even know I had a breathing triangle, so I went to see Advent. After a short procedure done in office, I'm back to breathing well, and my wife and I are both back to sleeping through the whole night. The best sleep we've ever had, that could be you. If you struggle with restless nights like I did, take the time to see how Advent can help. To find out how breathing well and sleeping well can make your life and your nights a whole lot better, go to AdventKnows.com, schedule an appointment today. Because Advent knows, when you breathe well, you live better.
The holiday season is a magical time of year to visit Lake Geneva. Embark on an enchanting Santa cruise on the lake. Take in a parade of trees and marvel at the world's tallest glass tree, built before your very eyes. Enjoy holiday shopping in a historic downtown. Chill out with festive food and libations in an igloo under the stars. Or find adventure on a zipline, ski hill, or snow-covered nature trail. Make Lake Geneva your place for holiday fun this year. Check out visitlakegeneva.com today for all the festive details.
When we're out in your town, come say hi as we broadcast live from the Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin mobile studio.
Anytime you hear us when we're on the road, you can find us live from our brand new mobile studio.
Whether it be Summerfest, EAA, Opening Day, Air and Water Show, wherever we may be.
You can see us on the radio, live from the Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin mobile studio.
We are Wisconsin's radio station.
We are Wisconsin's radio station.
We are Wisconsin's radio station.
News Radio 620 WTMJ.
Welcome back to Point Taken. I am Kristin Brey. Steve is off for the day. He will be back tomorrow. But I ran a little long before in my rant about just the fact that the Senate snuck in this provision about banning hemp products that is misguided, I would say, and just government overreach, is considering how much there wasn't a conversation as far as how much this is going to affect people. And so I'm very excited to talk to our next guest, who started his company when the Farm Bill in 2018 passed and has been the CEO and co-founder of Batch since 2018. It is a local Milwaukee company. Dennis Mistriotti, welcome to the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So I didn't realize not only do you run your company, but you have also been actively involved in, I don't know if lobbying is the right term, but advocating for regulation, but not prohibition of CBD products, both in Madison and DC, right?
Correct. Yeah. We've recognized for a while now that the industry, though doing so much that is good for the people, has been unchecked for too long, and there have been bad actors, and we've recognized that. And so we've been working for a while now to try to regulate the industry to prevent those bad actors from persisting while still allowing good businesses to persist and provide customers that really help people out.
So did this provision catch you off guard because to me, as someone who doesn't work in the industry, it wasn't something that was even on my radar until all of a sudden this week it was like, oh, this is part of the bill as they're rushing to get the government back open. But did it catch you off guard?
I think that's the reaction for most people. I've been tracking this for several months now. It caught me off guard in the sense that I thought that we would be able to get it removed because most congressmen, Senate and House, Democrat, Republican, agree that hemp should not be prohibited. But the way in which this was slipped in made it very difficult to properly deliberate it. So I was hopeful that we would not get to the point we are today, but I think there's still a lot we can do to undo this.
So can you explain what the provision says? Because I forgot if I said this in the last segment because all of a sudden I saw what the time was and I was like, we got to go. But it doesn't take place for another year. So it's not like if you are a gummy, if you're an enjoyer of gummies, your favorite place isn't shut down. You don't have to go like stockpile them. It is 365 days from today is when this provision of banning most hemp products would go into place. But if that were to happen, what does the ban actually ban?
Correct. So we have a whole year. You can still access the same products. But if this were to go through in a year from now, the language, the most important language is that any hemp product with greater than 0.4 milligrams of THC per container would be prohibited.
Per container?
Per container.
Because I think of that, and when I think of a bag of CBD gummies, they usually range somewhere from like 5 milligrams to sometimes 20, 25, but 0.4 for the entire container.
Right.
Okay.
That is virtually zero. I mean, most non-intoxicating CBD products have more than 0.4 milligrams of THC per serving.
Yeah.
So 0.4 per container is a very arbitrary number. I won't explain how they got there, but it's virtually zero. And
so this is like balms you put on sore muscles. This isn't just like gummies. It's everything.
Most balms that you put on sore muscles would also be illegal in this current language right now. So hopefully we can get that reversed, but it would 95% of the hemp products on the market would be currently illegal under this new language.
And so can you kind of put into context how big this industry has grown since 2018 with the Farm Bill?
Yeah, it's become huge. It's a $28 billion industry. There's thousands of farms growing hemp across the country. This is it's very rare that we have a new crop available for farmers, and this was one of them, and they've invested a lot in this. That is now taken away. There's new manufacturing businesses, and then, of course, brands like Batch all across the country.
So when you're having, then we'll go to a break, but when you're having these conversations that you've had with lawmakers, whether it's at the state level or the federal level, what is the what is the gap between their understanding of what it is and what needs to be regulated versus a full-blown prohibition?
Right. I think the industry is very nuanced and education is necessary, and most members of Congress don't fully grasp everything, but they do sympathize that this should not be prohibited and it should be regulated. Some of the very easy things that we want to see in regulation is age gating to 21 and over, manufacturing requirements, testing requirements, labeling and marketing requirements. That's the baseline. And I also think a reasonable milligram cap is also appropriate so that you can't sell a 1,000 milligram gummy, that anybody.
Good luck.
Yeah, exactly. You'd be surprised though. I mean, you go into certain stores, like you see stuff that we know should not be out there.
Because there's been reporting on like that. There's products out there that cause psychosis, and there's a whole because of the concentration, and there's a whole other issues that come up with no regulation.
Yeah, and that doesn't represent the greater hemp industry, but that is the easiest thing to make a headline out of. And so we are trying hard to address those things because I don't want Batch to be put into that same, umbrella of products because it doesn't represent us whatsoever. So we're just trying to work on making sure those do not persist. And I think this was really just a knee-jerk reaction to these crazy headlines, and first instinct is, well, let's just prohibit it.
All right. We are talking to Dennis Mistriotti, who is the CEO and co-founder of Batch. We'll take a quick break and finish up with him after this.
Hey, it's WTMJ. Steve for Annex Wealth Management. It's the sweet spot time for tax planning. You know that. Is there anything you're missing? Find out what you might need attention on and what to prioritize in an Annex Wealth Management webinar with the guys, Eric Strom, Tom Burkholz, both from Annex. I worked with them on the last webinar I did on the WRS system. They are fantastic, smart guys. Tuesday, November 18th at 1 p.m. Get your free spot by clicking the events tab at annexwealth.com. From optimizing Social Security to exploring the Roth conversions, that's a big story. Building tax-smart portfolios, always a great idea. Annex can guide you through all the critical decisions with your future in focus. As a fee-only fiduciary, that matters. Your goals come first. No commissions, no hidden agendas. Their team of certified financial planners, CFAs, CPAs, PhDs, and attorneys deliver customized solutions for investments, retirement, estate, and tax planning. Annex loves to provide free education. Their webinar series are a great example. Also, you have to have heard of this. Money Talk every Saturday, 10 a.m. on WTMJ. Listen to it for years. Great tools for clients and soon-to-be clients. Ready to take charge of your financial future? Visit AnnexWealth.com. Click on the now famous Get Started button and take the first step. Know the difference with a fee-only fiduciary. That's Annex Wealth Management.
Is it time to buy an engagement ring?
Or a big anniversary diamond?
Kessler's has diamonds that come from diamond mines.
And we also have diamonds that come from plasma chambers.
When you see the size of the diamond you can afford when you look at our high-tech newborn created diamonds,
You're going to be happy, happy, happy.
and with approved credit, our financing plans make anything possible.
Our selection of engagement rings is beyond compare.
And our custom design department can modify any ring in any way you choose.
Anyone who says they can give you a better ring
Or a better diamond
or a better price
has never been to Kessler's.
at our miraculous no small print warranty says.
If you bought it at Kessler's, it's guaranteed.
It's just that simple.
And all maintenance is free forever.
No charge.
Yes, it really is that miraculous.
You found a partner you want to share your life with.
When you're ready to celebrate,
we've got a diamond for that.
Find the Kesslers nearest you at KesslersDiamonds.com.
No matter how many people are in your family, buying new jackets for the cold weather months can be expensive. But when you shop St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores, prices on cold weather jackets will give you a sigh of relief because thrift store prices mean great deals. And right now we have a great selection. Find great deals on cold weather jackets for the family at St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores on Highway 100 in Layton and Greenfield, 23rd in Lincoln, and 76th and Bradley Road in Milwaukee.
You're gonna love it, St. Vincent de Paul.
When it rains, it pours. But sometimes it hails. Or worse.
That tornado warning again is for Fond du Lac and Dodge County. We also have a severe thunderstorm warning in effect right now.
Keep us within reach for Fleet Farm Storm Team alerts.
Even if a tornado does not touch down, we know that there are powerful straight line winds.
On 620 WTMJ and WTMJ.com.
Only got a couple minutes left with Dennis Mistriotti, who is the CEO and co-founder of Batch. And so we're talking about the provision that was snuck into the Clean CR bill to reopen the government that bans 95% of hemp products and what that could do if it is not altered in the next year, because the provision doesn't go into place for a year. So Dennis, as far as what should people know who need to learn more about this issue, but also like what is the action plan for all of you who are going to be advocating over the next year to get the right temperament in place, both federally and even in Wisconsin?
Right. Well, yeah, I think it is important to know that they chose to give a 1-year reprieve on this. If they really wanted this door to be shut all the way, they could have allowed 30 days or 60 days to allow people to sell through inventory, and then that was that. So the way we are looking at this and the way the hemp industry is looking at this is we have 1 year to regulate this industry now and to supersede this ban. And I think there is some intention in giving that 1-year reprieve to allow that. And so we have some very serious members of Congress that are chairmen of certain committees that can make this happen, that have bills drafted, regulatory framework in place that allows for testing requirements, manufacturing requirements, age gating, all the things that I mentioned earlier. And like I said, to allow this to be properly deliberated, I am confident that we can regulate this industry in the next 365 days.
All right. For people who are interested in learning more about Batch, where can they find it?
Yeah, you can just, we're mostly an online business, but everything is here in Wisconsin at hellobatch.com.
All right. And you do have to be over 21
yeah, you do.
to access the site. I noticed that this morning when I checked it out. All right, Dennis Mistriotti, thank you so much. Good luck with all of the lobbying and your entry into having to talk with politicians.
Thank you very much. I've learned a lot.
I bet. All right. When we come back, talking about state senators, State Senator Jody Habush-Sinekin will be here to talk about data centers.
ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. The federal government is now back open. The House voting last night in favor of the Senate bill that funds the government through January 30th. President Trump blaming the other party as he signed it. Next up, a House vote on the release of the full Epstein files on track for next week. Here's ABC's Stephen Portnoy.
After unsuccessfully applying pressure on a handful of GOP colleagues to keep their names off a petition that would force a vote, Speaker Mike Johnson says he'll put the Epstein files bill on the floor next week. It could pass the House. But even if it does, there's no guarantee it would be put to a vote in the Senate. And even if it passed both houses, there's no guarantee President Trump would sign it.
Today marks 10 years since the deadly terror attacks in Paris when members of ISIS opened fire on bystanders at cafes, restaurants, and at the popular Bataclan concert hall. Hundreds of people have been evacuated from a town west of Oklahoma City after an ammonia leak coming from a truck parked in a hotel parking lot. 36 people were hospitalized. This is ABC News.
Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time is 10:31. I'm Neil Doyle. Decision, Wisconsin, the gubernatorial field could be growing. Greater Milwaukee Committee President Joel Brennan telling WTMJ he's considering running for the state's top job in 2026. Brennan was appointed by Governor Evers as the Secretary of the Wisconsin Department of Administration in 2018, before then stepping down in January of 2022 to head up the GMC. Brennan is expected to make an official decision in the next 3 to 4 weeks. He'll be joining Wisconsin's Midday News today. You can hear that interview with Joel Brennan coming up at 12:15. The mother of a 3-year-old boy who died last week, now in custody. Milwaukee police arrested 34-year-old Zakita Joyner Murphy after her son DeQuarius Berry died at their home near 29th and Concordia. Investigators say injuries found on Berry's body were intentional and not accidental in nature. Joyner Murphy is facing child neglect charges. In the city of Milwaukee, residents have a few more weeks to rake your leaves into the street for pickup. Department of Public Works says it's extending the deadline to Sunday, November 30th to accommodate trees that are experiencing a late leaf drop. Leaves collected by the city will then be used for making compost. Time for news about your money and the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Still red across the board. The Dow is down 360 points at 47,894. The NASDAQ is down 394 points as well at 23,011. S&P 500 down about 73 at 6,777. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com. Take a look at the roads, your WTMJ Time Saver traffic. We had a couple of issues told you about on 94, but those have kind of cleared up nicely. Otherwise, just seeing 1 or 2 disabled vehicles moving along nicely here for your Thursday. And your WTMJ 5-day forecast. It will be sunny and mild. We'll see a high up around 53 today. And then tonight, partly cloudy, a low dipping down to 38. Heading into Friday, sunny, breezy, even more mild tomorrow, highs in the upper 50s, and we continue to warm up into the weekend. Saturday, partly cloudy. We could maybe see a slight chance for a shower, a high of 61. On Sunday, partly cloudy, breezy. We cool back down, a high of just 46. And then mostly sunny on Monday with highs in the low 40s. Right now, it's 45 degrees in Madison, sitting at 46 in Kenosha, and 45 degrees in Milwaukee. I'm Neil Doyle. Outdoor Living Unlimited. WTMJ News Time is 10:34.
I know why you continue to live in pain. It's because you don't believe anything can be done to help. Maybe you bought into something and you've been burned before. I mean, your skepticism. It's understandable. This is Rejuvenex founder Richard Salinas. And here we use powerful, anti-inflammatory, and cushioning pharmacological medicines to ease your pain. They're FDA approved, and most medical insurance is going to pay for our treatments, including Medicare and Medicaid. And that's the litmus test. Because if insurance has shown to cover the cost of many of our patients' treatments, you can be sure it's valid medicine. It's not a biological treatment considered experimental or some new gimmick that's trying to hook you. The Rejuvenex approach to pain relief is legitimate. It helps to alleviate pain in shoulders, hips, elbows, and knees. And from what we've seen, it gives people a new lease on their lives. Call today, and there's a good chance we'll see you tomorrow.
Thanksgiving is all about family. WTMJ's John Mercure here. Please don't cook and clean on Thanksgiving. No, make it easy. Relax with your family and enjoy the magnificent Thanksgiving Day buffet at the historic Fox and Hounds. The supper club right there is fantastic. The buffet is all you care to eat with every dish you love for Thanksgiving, including a huge selection of homemade desserts. Sip on an old-fashioned, a Manhattan, over 20 bourbons to choose from, 100 wines, 8 beautiful dining rooms. The 7 real wood-burning fireplaces will keep you warm and cozy. The Fox and Hounds sits in the heart of the Kettle Moraine Forest. It's a one-of-a-kind gem. It's just off Highway 167, 2 miles east of the Holy Hill Shrine. The drive, the views, spectacular. I urge you to call and reserve today. Tables will fill quickly for the all-you-care-to-eat Thanksgiving Day buffet. Kids and grandkids under 3 eat for free. Remember, when you buy one dinner, your second dinner is free every night. Google the award-winning Fox and Hounds.
Welcome back to Point Taken. I am Kristin Brey. Steve is off today. He will be back tomorrow. And I feel like if there was a word of the year for Wisconsin, maybe data center would be a top contender, because all of a sudden it feels like in the last 6 months we're talking about it a lot, because Wisconsin is rapidly becoming a highly sought after destination for data centers. The most recent announcement is that Meta, which is the company that owns Facebook and Instagram and WhatsApp, is investing more than $1 billion to build a 700,000 square foot data center in Beaver Dam. And that is after Port Washington. That is after Mount Pleasant. That is after, I think, 47 in total, either planned or potential projects for these massive data centers. So as local governments are choosing to engage and invest in this industry, I think there's a bigger cry for what role does the state have as far as regulating and having transparency around how these negotiations happen. So last week, State Senator Jody Habush-Sinekin introduced legislation to hold data centers, large energy use and tech companies accountable to Wisconsin workers, environment, and taxpayers. And she joins us in the studio right now. Welcome to the show, Senator.
Thank you very much, Kristin.
So I guess you do not have a technology background. You are a lawyer by trade. So what in your freshman year as a state senator caught your eye and motivated you to start looking into data centers and what role the state needs to play in it?
Thanks for that excellent question, because in the years leading up to becoming a state senator, this is exactly the type of work I did, which is bringing people together, creating coalitions of stakeholders and subject matter experts, and really trying to gain the best possible solutions and understanding of particular problems. What we, most certainly myself and my Senate office, like you, have been hearing is this proliferation of data centers in Wisconsin, and understanding that currently there is no law, no regulations at the state level to govern how these data centers and big tech companies work.
And so, because as of right now, it's just been a local negotiation from, like, as a local government, either a municipality or the county, to attract and come up with a deal for these data centers, right?
That's correct. The ideas for the data center and the decisions to proceed happen at the local level. And while those decisions, it's important that they remain in that realm at the local level, we do need to have state regulations, a framework that guides the process, since it affects the state as a whole.
So as you started to research this more, what were some of the gaps you were seeing that could be or should be addressed by the state?
Absolutely. What stands out to me, particularly in hearing from my constituents, given the $15 billion data center that's being planned for the Port Washington area.
Is Port Washington in your district?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
So we've been hearing from a lot of constituents who are sharing well-grounded, well-founded concerns about water use and energy grid impacts, renewable energy commitments, and local impacts to property values and storm outflow, all of it, ATC lines. And we are trying to be responsive to what is their biggest priority, which is transparency, is holding these data centers and big tech accountable and have their usage made available to the public. Because in the absence of information, that's really where worry and fear and lack of trust grows.
So I think there's been a lot, in the last 6 months, there's been a lot of press over the drawbacks of these, whether it's a Charlie Barron's video or I think a lot of coverage in general as far as the energy use, the water use, the pollution suspicions. But what do you understand as far as the advantages? Because obviously the reason why this is coming up now is because in the 2023-2025 budget, which is before you were in the state Senate, but there was incentives built into the budget to start to bring tax incentives to start to appeal to these data centers. And so what is the what is the major pro argument for why any of us should want these to be in Wisconsin?
Well, whether or not people want them to be in Wisconsin or not is really not where the focus is. The fact is they are here in Wisconsin, and we need to step up as the legislature and to provide those safeguards and those guardrails, which is what my legislation does. We need to take into account that here in Wisconsin, which is very much what I am committed to as a state senator, is we need to focus on moving our state forward with workforce and our communities and bringing people together, very much environmentalists, all of us, to take on and an understanding through transparency and accountability these data centers which are here. So taking into all those accounts, which very much trying to, for example, in my legislation, focuses on ensuring community benefits like family supporting jobs, prevailing wages, good work that could come from the construction, not just of the data centers themselves, but also for the renewable energy sources for solar, wind, battery, etc.
All right, let's take a quick break. And when we come back, we'll dive in deeper into what the legislation is, what the feedback has been, who you worked with to craft the legislation. So we're talking to State Senator Jody Habush-Sinekin about her new legislation introduced last week about data centers. So stay with us on Point Taken.
Our children deserve a real chance to make it in life, and a good education is a passport to opportunity. At City Ford Collective, we're working to make sure there's a great Milwaukee school for every Milwaukee family, because more good options lead to better outcomes. And who doesn't want that? Together, we can give every child the foundation they need to thrive, and a stronger future for kids means a stronger future for Milwaukee. To learn more about our mission, visit us at cityfordcollective.org. That's cityfordcollective.org.
You want in on the autumn action at Potawatomi Casino Hotel Milwaukee? Of course you do. With $300,000 in prizes, who wouldn't? November 1st through the 20th, play with your rewards card for entries. Thursdays, pick your win from a prize board. At the end of the night, all leftover prizes go to one winner in a jackpot drawing. Autumn action. It's going down at Potawatomi. More info online. Must be 21 and a rewards member to play.
Don't think twice. Call Geis. A great way to add value and curb appeal to your home is with the new LiftMaster or CHI maintenance-free garage door. Hey, it's WTMJ's Greg Matzik. A study by Remodelers Magazine reports that the average return on investment is an amazing 82%. Garage doors rank first among all home improvement projects. To see Geis's huge selection of doors, visit their showroom in Brookfield, or you can also visit their online showroom at geisdoors.com. Geis has everything from alley doors to custom wood designer doors and everything in between. Remember, for all your garage door needs, you call Geis at 262-784-4250. That number again, 262-784-4250. It's Geis. Visit them online at geisdoors.com. Don't think twice. Call Geis.
For over a century, local broadcasting has evolved with the needs of the community. We move past the stigmas of opinion journalism and bring the most relevant news online, on air, and on the go. You have trusted us with your news, sports, weather, and entertainment. Trust us to keep moving with you. Text radio to 52886 and tell Congress local broadcasting is here to stay.
Cheese doodles, Mr. Nougat Bar. Oh, here we go. 4-door hatchback.
Some things are fine to buy from a vending machine, but a car is not one of them. The national online company makes it seem convenient, but it won't be so convenient if you have a problem with the vehicle you buy. And if it's after 7 days, good luck. Adam member dealers also let you search online, plus test drive the vehicle before you buy it, and they're right here to handle any issues.
What? The car's stuck. No!
Start your search at adam.com.
Shop smarter with Higher Love Cannabis Company in Menominee, Michigan, just a few seconds across the Wisconsin border. Award-winning, organically grown, quality products you can trust. Don't settle for knockoffs in Wisconsin. Get the real deal at findhigherlove.com/CBD.
Welcome back to Point Taken. I am Kristin Brey. Steve is out for the day. We are talking to State Senator Jody Habush-Sinekin, who might be your state senator if for most of our listening area definitely falls in your district. And so last week she introduced a starting point of legislation to talk about transparency when it comes to data centers popping up all over Wisconsin. And so we kind of laid the foundation in our last segment as far as how you got interested in this, what you've been hearing. But what does the legislation, at least as written and introduced right now, may not be the final product, but what does the legislation that you crafted actually do?
Yeah, thank you. This is meant as a starting point, not the end of the conversation. So what the bill very much focuses on is holding these big data centers and big tech accountable to Wisconsin's values, which is very much based on transparency. So people want to know about water usage. They want to know about energy consumption. They want to know what about our renewable energy commitments and future for Wisconsin. They want to know what kind of workforce will be utilized. Those questions, this bill makes it available and will hold data centers accountable to that information.
And so who did you work with in crafting this? So there's a lot of different stakeholders when it comes to these issues. I know one of the reasons I wrote about this for Journal Sentinel, what's interesting to me about this issue is that it doesn't fall neatly on partisan lines like most contentious issues do. Because when you think about Democrats, there's a lot of union jobs that go into the construction of these things. And so I think for a lot of Democrats to completely come out and say no data centers, it's not very good for the unions. And so when you were talking to all the different stakeholders in trying to come up with this initial legislation, who were you talking to?
Yeah, there was so much good intention and hard work, really reaching out, as you just stated, to a whole array of stakeholders. We invited so many cooks into our kitchen, literally, to help form the ideas and the framework for this first of its kind legislation for Wisconsin. So environmental groups across Wisconsin, labor groups across Wisconsin, utility folks and stakeholders, subject matter experts, to be able to create something that's very rare in the Capitol today, which is folks with oftentimes opposing interests working together to create this accountability.
So and it's been a week, what has the initial feedback been from your other colleagues in the either state Senate or in the House? Not the House, the Assembly.
Yes, from the Senate and the Assembly, I'm hearing very positive things with regard to people's appreciation that we are actually making a move on this. This utter silence or inaction doesn't really serve folks in Wisconsin, because we do need that regulatory framework. We do need accountability to allay people's concerns and fears. And there's appreciation with regard to the opportunity for bipartisanship. I believe it is real. This is not a bipartisan issue. My Republican colleagues are hearing from the same constituents that I am as a Democratic senator. We need to work together to provide that type of regulatory certainty and transparency to our shared constituents. What my hope is that this bill gets a number, it is sent to a committee, and that committee, which you know is very much controlled still by the Republican majority, they decide what bills get a hearing. I want this bill to get a hearing because that is where the real work gets done. We hear from constituents. We hear from other experts. There are suggestions. We can improve upon this and make it better and possible in Wisconsin. So that is my hope and my call out to my colleagues, both Democrats and Republicans, that we should work together on this legislation.
Which committee would it most likely go through?
There's a number of committees. It could go to 3 or 4 different ones. Okay. So I don't really know. That decision is made in the Senate by the Senate president.
Okay. So it's a LeMahieu thing?
I think it would be Mary Felskowski.
Felskowski, yeah.
That is correct.
And so I guess you really see this as like the beginning of a conversation.
Yes.
Hope for bipartisanship. Is it something that you feel like you're going to shop around or at least have conversations with for like all the governor candidates? Because that seems like something that they're going to be asked about in the next year as they're running, and have a plan, right? As far as have a plan of what not only what their opinion of these things are, these things being data centers, but also how much they want to embrace them and how much they want to have transparency. So have you had a chance to really talk to any of the statewide candidates about this?
Not yet, but
Okay.
I think it's a great idea. It's a question of, do we want some regulatory framework to provide that accountability, that certainty that people are looking for, or do we kind of want this wide open Wild West where there is nothing out there at the state level and it's all on the local communities to handle it on their own with no state oversight at all? And I'm very much hopeful that we can prevail upon folks to see the value, legislators, and of course at the governor level as well, the value of state oversight and to deliver on accountability to the people of Wisconsin. We need this to move forward. If Republicans and others are interested in taking pieces out and working on those and creating separate bills, that's great. It's really, as I mentioned already, a starting point to be able to make progress for Wisconsin and bring people together on this.
Great. All right. Well, thank you so much for starting the
you.
conversation and getting the ball rolling. State Senator Jody Haber-Sinekin, thanks for being here today.
Thank you, Kristin. I really appreciated the opportunity.
All right. We'll be back with more after this.
What's on Tap with Sandy Max, keeping you updated on culture and creativity.
The Wisconsin Film Office. We can say it out loud. It's going to happen. Academy Award winner John Ridley.
So I'm glad that Wisconsin is getting in the game. I hope they stay in the game. Wisconsin is great because it has so many different looks. It has so many different places. It has places that are untouched. It has places that are incredibly modern.
What's on Tap with Sandy Max, weeknights at 6 on WTMJ.
Hey, it's WTMJ's Kristin Brey, and if you're in the market for a new dentist, you should check out my dentist, Dr. James Michaels at Economawalk Dental Care. Dr. Michaels is committed to providing you with the highest level of care possible, and I can assure you he will prioritize your needs no matter how sensitive, just like he did with mine. He'll also be honest with you about what work you need now and what can wait. So whether you need a simple cleaning and exam, teeth whitening, or a more complex dental procedure, Economawalk Dental will always make you feel as comfortable as possible and give you and your family an amazing smile. We all have to go to the dentist, so do not put it off any longer. Call and make an appointment today with my dentist, Dr. James Michaels at Economawalk Dental Care at 262-567-7224.
We've saved our clients over $19 million in real estate commission. I say this because that's a pretty big number. But at Century 21 Benefit Realty, it's really not about being a top volume agency. Over here, it's more about you. And at 1.9% commission and no more than $19,000 commission, for the listing side of your sale, no matter what size property you're selling, you will save substantially. This is Angela Calais with Century 21 Benefit Realty, benefit-realty.com, where you pay less for full service. Each office is independently owned and operated. First off, our 1.9% commission structure helps get their foot in the door, and that's why agents like working here. But what they really like is having the strongest marketing tools available, with the resources to help them sell homes at the highest prices to satisfy their clients. Century 21 Benefit Realty offers what agents like most, and that's to help them be successful. If you really want to believe in the business model that you're representing, give me a call. I'm Angela Calais with Century 21 Benefit Realty. Call me, and let's talk about your future. Each office is independently owned and operated.
WTMJ Steve Scafidi here. Year-end tax planning can sound daunting, but it doesn't have to be. Let's review what tasks you'll need to prioritize and what might require attention in an Annex Wealth Management webinar with CEO Dave Spano, Director of Financial Planning Eric Strom, and yours truly. Join us Tuesday, November 18, 2025 at 1 p.m. to get all the insights you need to close out the year strong. Register now. Click the events button at annexwealth.com to save your free spot. That's annexwealth.com. Click events to register today.
Spice up your workday at the original Botanas on 5th Street. Enjoy flavorful and affordable Mexican lunch specials, always made fresh and served fast with a free cup of soup. Authentic taste, local favorite. Mi casa es su casa at Botanas.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station.
Big thanks to our guest this first Steve-less hour on a Thursday, Dennis Mistriotti from Batch, the CEO and co-founder of Batch, State Senator Jody Habush-Sinekin. Great first hour. Jeremy Janine, it is Thursday, so he'll be here after the top of the hour news. But I wanted to do a quick promo. We have a new You Need to Listen out this morning. So if you would like to listen to it, just text LISTEN to 855-616-1620. And I'm really excited about this one because it probably doesn't shock you. You may not know this about me, but it probably would not shock any loyal listeners of this show. But in college, I created my own major, but by combining different majors. And one of them was women's studies or gender studies. And so I geeked out a little bit on this episode because Steve and I broke down and had our opinions on a viral, controversial headline that came out of the New York Times last week. That the original headline was, "Did women ruin the workplace?" And you can imagine how many memes came out of that. But then it was under so much pressure, they changed the headline to, "Did liberal feminism ruin the workplace? And can conservative feminism fix it?" And so it is I found it to be a fascinating conversation between three conservatives, two women, and then the host is a conservative male. And we broke down, I talked to Steve about how the workplace has changed over the course of his career, because obviously when he first started working, there was way less women than there were, and now he works every day with me, whether he likes it or not. So it was a really good conversation as far as getting beyond that controversial headline and really into the meat of what that podcast talked about and our own experiences as far as women in the workplace, how the workplace has changed. It's a really great conversation. If you would like to listen to it, just text LISTEN to 855-616-1620, and then let us know what you think of it. When we come back, Jeremy Janine will be here to talk all things Milwaukee.
Welcome to The Knowledge Brokers, a weekly feature covering the dynamics of the insurance market, how it affects Wisconsin businesses and residents. It's sponsored by the original Knowledge Broker, R&R Insurance. Joining me today is Jeff Salazinski, Executive Vice President of Insurance Operations. Jeff, talking about employee benefits today, and R&R Insurance, of course, a great benefits program for all of us here at Good Karma Brands. So when it comes to benefits, what are some of the real challenges employers are facing today?
Vince, the buying environment has not been easy for many employers, really driven by cost increases and the rapid innovation in today's specialty prescription drugs and medical treatments. The explosion of GLP-1 drugs and their usage is impacting planned financials. Specialized gene therapies are revolutionizing medicine, but also sending shockwaves through health plan economics and risk management frameworks.
So, Jeff, of course, managing an employee health plan, doing that well takes time. It takes expertise. So how is R&R supporting its clients and keeping them informed on all of these issues you just mentioned?
Sure. We have an elite team of analytics resources that blend their years of experience with technology and innovation when designing plans for our clients. We use strategy and our expert resources to help you control costs and maximize the value of your employee benefits plan. Plus, we provide local management and service and support all over the state.
So what else can R&R Insurance provide that sets you apart?
We help employers brand their benefit package in a customized, easy-to-understand fashion, taking out the complex and confusing nature of shopping for health insurance. Most importantly, we'll manage and provide as much support as you need for your open enrollment and beyond. With our latest mobile technology, your employees will have easy and immediate access to benefits information for themselves and their families 24/7.
Thanks for the great info, Jeff.
Matt LePay for Steinhoffels. Steinhoffels is a proud partner of Wisconsin Athletics. Since 1934, Steinhoffels has been Wisconsin's furniture and mattress destination for quality, selection, and service. For over 90 years, Steinhoffels has helped Wisconsinites create the homes of their dreams and is 100% employee-owned. Steinhoffels has the largest selection of all the latest styles and all the best mattress brands. You'll find something for every style and every budget. Shop in-store or online at steinhoffels.com. Relax, it's Steinhoffels.
The place you want to go, Lynch McWanago.
Nobody sells for less than Lynch.
Stay up to date with your trusted and relevant source in news, sports, traffic, and weather. We are Wisconsin's radio station. News Radio 620, WTMJ, Milwaukee.
At 11 o'clock, it's 48 degrees. Today, sunny and mild with a high of 53. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, I'm Tiff Pua. Federal workers are expressing relief and frustration as the longest government shutdown comes to an end. The shutdown began October 1st after Democrats rejected a funding fix and demanded health insurance subsidies. It ended when some Democratic-aligned senators agreed to a deal without those subsidies. The shutdown affected more than 1 million federal employees, many working without pay. The deal ensures back pay and reverses dismissals. 3 schools in the Waukesha School District will be closing its doors at the end of the year.
The school board voting Wednesday night to shut down Bethesda, Hawthorne, and Whittier elementary schools. District leaders say it's part of a consolidation plan to deal with declining enrollment. Superintendent James Siebert.
Really what we're trying to do is set ourselves up for a sustainable and viable long-range future for the school district of Waukesha.
But many community members not happy with the decision.
I urge you to keep Bethesda open, not just for my family, but for the hundreds of families who choose Bethesda as their number one choice of school across Waukesha.
The consolidation plan is expected to save the district over $3 million. Neil Doyle, WTMJ News.
A suspect connected to the death of a Milwaukee alderman's nephew is now in custody.
The weeks-long search for a man accused of killing 16-year-old Marquise Champion ends in Oklahoma. According to Champion's uncle, Alderman Mark Chambers, law enforcement have arrested Martell Hare. Police say the 37-year-old fled from 79th and Hampton on Milwaukee's northwest side October 20th after shooting Champion and 2 others. Hare faces multiple charges, including first-degree reckless homicide. Adam Roberts, WTMJ News.
The city of Green Bay is moving forward with a plan to explore bringing professional soccer to that city. The Common Council on Tuesday approved a letter of intent that will determine how feasible building a 5,000-seat stadium and surrounding mixed-use development would be. Mayor Eric Genrich tells WTMJ the city's plans are not a reaction to stalled plans for a similar development in Milwaukee.
I mean, it's something that I think some of us are just aware of from following things, but it has not come up in any great detail or hasn't been an item of discussion between us and the USL, no.
The Green Bay plan includes no timetable for a potential agreement with the USL. And with the colder weather on the horizon, the threat of carbon monoxide-related illness or death increases in the state of Wisconsin.
Anything that burns fossil fuel creates carbon monoxide.
Like stoves, furnaces, and water heaters. Milwaukee Fire Chief Aaron Lipsky.
It can make you very drowsy. It can make you kind of feel loopy where you're just not making good decisions. And then people work against their own interests and they think, well, I'm just not feeling good. I'm going to just go lay on the couch. And then they succumb.
The average shelf life of a carbon monoxide detector is 5 to 10 years, with most needing replacement every 7 to 10 years. Not sure if yours is working properly? The fire department will check. Greg Matzik, WTMJ News.
If you do not have a working smoke detector, you can request one be installed by calling the Milwaukee Fire Department Smoke Detector Hotline. Time for news about your money. Here's your WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Everything in the red this morning. Your Dow is down 435 points to 47,819. The S&P 500 is down 80 points to 6,770. And the NASDAQ is down 432 points to 22,973. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com. Sports, traffic, and weather are next. Outdoor Living Unlimited WTMJ News Time is 11:04.
It's like you don't want to even do anything anymore. You lay in bed in the morning, putting off the pain. You put off your workouts. You put off your walks. And yard work, that's just not even an option anymore. As we speak, pain is taking away more and more from your life. And unless you take action, it's going to get worse. And that's no way to live. Not when there's a Rejuvenex clinic nearby. Because the power of Toradol, joined with the wonder of hyaluronic acid, can alleviate your pain. And it can allow you to start living your life again. This is Rejuvenex founder Richard Salinas. At as low as $65 per injection per joint, Rejuvenex treatments are affordable. They're FDA approved. And in many cases, our patients pay nothing at all. Because insurance, including Medicare and Medicaid, pay for them. If your pain just won't go away, you should call Rejuvenex today.
Rejuvenex. Alleviate your pain. Rejuvenate your life.
Google review reviews will tell you it's worth a try.
Why wait for Black Friday when you can save every day? Hassleless Mattress is bringing back Black Friday Plus, now through December 2nd on all Beautyrest World Class, and Beautyrest Black mattresses. Get a Queen Beautyrest Elm Cove A mattress. Others sell it for $1,650, but our Black Friday Plus price is just $794, plus free adjustable base, plus free memory foam pillows, plus free next day delivery, and a great night's sleep. Find an employee-free showroom near you at hassleless.com.
Beautiful and safe. Decks built to last by Outdoor Living Unlimited, Wisconsin's #1 TimberTech deck installation team. For amazing ideas, go to our Outdoor Living Unlimited Instagram page. For a free estimate, go to OutdoorLivingUnlimited.com.
Time for a WTMJ sports update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All Sports Desk. Packers head coach Matt LaFleur says it's highly unlikely that injured center Elton Jenkins returns this season.
It's a shame because, he was one of the first guys we drafted when I got here, and just been through a lot with him, and obviously a lot of great moments, and it's a shame because he's one of our real leaders on our team.
Sean Ryan expected to take over as the starter when the Packers visit the New York Giants on Sunday. And the Bucks come up short last night against the Hornets, 111-100. Giannis did not play due to a left knee issue, but he's expected to return tomorrow night in a rematch with the Hornets at Fiserv Forum. Taking a look at your roads with your WTMJ Time Saver traffic. Now we have a number of disabled vehicles on the roads. Nothing is in the way, but we've got slowdowns. Northbound I-94 north, we've got some slowdowns in the construction area starting at about 2 Mile Road. Clears up around 4 Mile Road. And then 94 eastbound in Waukesha County starts about Blue Mound Road and clears up just past Barker. You'd be tapping the brakes through there. Stay safe out there, everyone. Here's your WTMJ 5-day forecast today. Sunny and mild, a high of 53. Tonight, partly cloudy with a low of 38. For your Friday, very similar, sunny, breezy, and mild with a high of 58. Saturday is the pick day, partly cloudy, windy, and mild with a slight chance of showers later, but a high of 61. Sunday, the bottom drops back out again, so it's partly cloudy, breezy, and cooler with a high of 46. And for your Monday, mostly sunny with a high of 43. Right now in Madison, it's 47. In Waukesha, it's 47. In Green Bay, it's 45. And in Milwaukee, it's cloudy and 48 degrees. I'm Tiff Pua. Outdoor Living Unlimited WTMJ News Time is coming up on 11:08.
Broadcasting live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios at the Avenue. It's time for Point Taken. Here are your hosts, Steve Scafidi and Kristin Brey.
Hello, hello. Welcome to the 11 o'clock hour of the Thursday edition of Point Taken. Steve is off today. He will be back tomorrow. But of course, Jeremy Janine of Urban Milwaukee is here all hour with us. And we just have to start with a hilarious development that I was unaware of. So, as most people know, our studio is in the 3rd Street Market Hall in downtown Milwaukee, and we have a new mural outside of our office or our studio and ESPN Milwaukee and 1017 The Truth. And I did not realize, because it's finally done, and you just pointed this out to me, Jeremy, that Steve's favorite public art is heavily featured in this mural.
It certainly is. It's almost right outside the chair that Steve sits in all the time. And if you want to see this, come to 3rd Street Market Hall. It's right there on what would be the west side of the Market Hall, away from the Milwaukee River. And it's a beautiful, beautiful drawing of The Calling, which is what Steve would call the big orange asterisk or sunburst at the eastern end of Wisconsin Avenue near
that he
the
loves
Milwaukee.
so much.
Yes.
I don't know if I ever shared this on the show and had like a talk and text line. Maybe I should get that set up. But I think it was during Summerfest. My husband and I took a picture by The Calling, but like left space in between us, and then I just photoshopped Steve into it.
And it was really well done. I remember being impressed by it.
Yeah. You're like, is this real? I was like, no, it's not real. So yes, I can't wait for Steve to get pictures of Steve on air with The Calling in the picture. But anyways, that's not what we're going to talk about today. What we're going to talk about today is a variety of things, but we had a running joke as far as HPV before as a play on a sexually transmitted disease, but really talking about parking violations. But now we are actually going to talk about STIs. So let's get into it.
There's something bad has happened, at least temporarily, which is that the city has closed its STI clinic, part of the much larger Milwaukee Health Department, at the Keenan Health Center, which is at about 36th and Fond du Lac. It's just north of Fond du Lac Avenue. they operate this center, and it's closed. And obviously, I think if you or I, and we're not in a position in life where we probably ever have this concern, but if we needed to get a STI test, sexually transmitted infection test, we'd probably go to our primary care provider.
Yeah.
But for a large segment of Milwaukee's population, the easiest place to go, and you can just walk in and get same-day results, is the city's Keenan Health Center and this STI clinic. And the city had to close it because they have a shortage of nurses. And we know there's a national shortage of nurses and electricians. Those are two things that are in a shortage nationwide, and those are being reflected in city services because public health nursing and being a public electrician are two of the tougher types of those jobs. And so the city has had trouble staffing the center. I'll read a comment from Michael Todoridis announcing this closure. We remain deeply committed to providing accessible, equitable, sexual, and reproductive health care for all residents. We know how important these services are for our community, and this brief pause will allow us to strengthen staffing, maintain clinical quality, and bring the STI clinic back stronger and more sustainable than before. Now I thought, okay, maybe there's a couple dozen people that are going to be impacted by that. So what I did, because where I've lived for the past month is budget presentations, I pulled up the city's budget presentation or the health department's budget presentation to learn how much are they spending in this area and what comments did they have about nursing. And more than 45,000 tests are administered every year by the health department for STIs.
Wow.
So more than 100 per day. So if we're about to lose an entire month, like that number is going to plummet next year. There were already, as of the end of August this year, there have been more than 39,000 tests administered. I don't know if that means that there's a bumper season of fun in the summer or if that means that things were already trending up, and maybe that's part of why nurses have resigned.
But it's also great that people are getting tested. I think that's a great realization.
And one of the things that the health department does as a mandated state role is if there's an outbreak of chlamydia, gonorrhea, any undesirable disease, that they lead the investigation. They try and find patient zero. And they do that more than 2,000 times in 2024. And then through 2025, they've already done it 1,400 times. So that could probably be resulting in a lot of tests that, hey, so-and-so, we think you might be connected to this web. Come get tested, and let's rule you out.
So is the next step of them just trying to recruit more nurses? Is that's what's contingent on them opening again?
Yes, so that's already underway. If you're interested, if you're qualified to be a registered nurse, the city pay starts at $68,000. As we talk about the budget, it's about to go up 4%, and then it peaks at about $87,000. There's recruitment fairs, and this is all in an article in Urban Milwaukee, or if you search from the Milwaukee Health Department online, there's a series of events starting in November, lasting into December, and then they're just hiring on an ongoing basis.
So as far as a backup from that until it's reopened, there's Bested, which is on Brady.
Yeah, the three places the health department sends you to, but Bested on Brady is one, and that serves the LGBT community particularly. But they said if you want same-day testing, they recommended Milwaukee Health Services, which is on MLK Drive near Center Street, Outreach Community Health Centers, which is on the 200 block of Capitol Drive, and then Progressive Community Health Centers, which has a place on Lisbon Avenue and on North 12th Street near the Aurora Sinai Complex.
All right, there you go. All right, well, it's a surprising number, but like I said, I'm happy people are getting tested, and hopefully they get some nurses and can reopen soon.
Yes. Going back to October when they talked about that, they talked about staffing, the commissioner made a comment, we have to triage where we have nurses. So it seemed like this issue had been festering for a long time.
Got it. All right. Well, when we come back, a beer district, potentially, maybe. We'll see. Jeremy Janine is here from Urban Milwaukee. I am Kristin Brey, and this is Point Taken.
I'm Jean Nemovitz of Bruce's team. Together with my husband Bruce and our dedicated team members, Erica and Cindy, we're here to guide you through one of life's biggest transitions, moving from your longtime home to a new one. With empathy, kindness, and understanding, we'll walk with you every step of the way, making the process as smooth and stress-free as possible. Let us take you from overwhelmed to I can do this. Call us today at 262-242-6177 or visit brucesteam.com.
You don't need a massive walk-in to have a beautiful, organized closet.
Tired of wasted space? Or that pile of shoes that's always hiding behind your closet door?
Abracadabra!
Inspired Closets is the expert at doubling or even tripling your storage space instantly.
It's like magic, but better, because it's custom designed for you.
We make it easy and affordable and transform your space regardless of its size or scope.
Get started today at inspiredclosetsmilwaukee.com.
Inspired Closets.
A wife and husband team.
At Hazelden Betty Ford, treating mental health isn't just about breaking old patterns, it's about braving new ones. As the leader in alcohol and drug treatment for 75 years, we know caring for addiction, anxiety, depression, and trauma goes hand in hand. We're here for you with new tools when life breaks down. Discover your path to better mental health at hazeldenbettyford.org/Wisconsin. Sponsored by Hazelden Betty Ford Foundation.
Oh boy, this is going to be a really great show. Talking about Experience Wisconsin, on this week's show, we will head south of the city to two incredible places. First off, Kenosha. I really love Kenosha, grew up not far from there. So much to do along the water, so much to do as we approach the holidays. We will also feature O&H Danish Bakery in Racine. Oh, one of my favorite places. It's Experience Wisconsin, the best our state has to offer, Saturdays at 1 o'clock. I hope you'll join us right here on 620 WTMJ.
Big thanks again to everyone who made it out to our first WTMJ trivia last night at Revere's in Delafield. Great turnout, but if you missed it, you have another chance. Join Greg Matzik and Jessica Ty for WTMJ's Trivia Showdown Wednesday, November 19th at 7 p.m. at Maddie's Bar and Grill in New Berlin. So it's presented by Quizmaster Trivia. It's benefiting Capco's Kids to Kids Toy Drive. So all you need to do is bring an unused toy or text TOY to 855-616-1620 to donate. You can also donate at the event. So yeah, bring your friends, play for a great cause, show everyone how smart you are. And I have to say, Jeremy, Janine, last week when we were talking about, we were promoting our trivia night, I asked you how good at trivia you were, and not surprisingly, you said, I am very good, or I'm pretty good, and you referenced James Garfield, and Mike and I started the show, Death by Lightning. It's very good. The Netflix show about James Garfield and the guy who killed him.
So look at that, a television recommendation and a humble brag all in one.
All in one, yeah, there you go. So are we going to get you to any of these trivia nights?
Where's the next one again? Say it again for the listeners.
Next Wednesday, Maddie's in New Berlin. Then there's going to be, I forgot the order, but there's going to be one at Left Sentosa. And then there's one in Menominee Falls. I'm missing something. I'll get back. I'll
you
look
could
it up.
persuade me to come to one of them.
Okay,
Embarrass
perfect.
myself.
Perfect, great. All right, so there was part of the, I've been on this for a while because I remember when Robin Palm, Bourbon Planner, as he's referred to himself on social media, first made this argument as far as what would be available and to build and develop around American Family Field that would be similar to a Deer District as far as having more use of the space because there is so much parking at American Family Field. And you can correct me if I'm wrong, but part of the deal with extending how much revenue or how much like tax dollars were going to go to the Brewers and to AmFam Field was that they at least had to do a study to see what would that look like to have more development around there. And the study's finally out.
Yes, we have at least the executive summary of the study. We're still waiting the final draft with the great detail of it. But this company out of Washington, D.C., Braidesford and Dunleavy, and I'm sure I'm mispronouncing that, but they actually did a really robust study. I have to credit them. They looked at everything from like floodplains to how the Interstate 94 project with the stadium interchange is going to change the alignment of the highway that divides it. So American Family Field, I still want to call it Miller Park all the time, 260 acres of land, about 160 acres of that is parking. So there's a lot of opportunity there.
It's more parking than, is it Disney World or Disneyland?
I don't know.
I forgot. That was one of the things that I know Robin pointed out. It's like there is, or at least for the Magic Kingdom at Disney World, there's like equivalent of that's how much parking we have at AmFam.
That wouldn't surprise me because there's about 12,000 parking spaces outside American Family Field. And if you've ever gone to a Wednesday afternoon game against the Cincinnati Reds, you know that it's not needed for all 81 home games. So this study looked at using just a slice of that land, and they also considered market factors because I think it's really easy to go, okay, well, you could put buildings here and you could put a 30-story building here. And they said, no, really what you're going to see is like 5 to 7-story buildings. You're going to see predominantly residential buildings, so up to 1,000 units of housing, a small amount of office space, so like 50,000 square feet of office space. you want like a comparison of what that is, that means like 2 floors of most downtown office buildings. So not a ton of office space. And then 50,000 square feet of retail space, which gets you somewhere about half a Walmart. So again, not a huge spot, but that could mean a grocery store or something. And they drew up, again, this is where I credit them studying the floodplains, really good plans and siting options. So one of the options would take the Menominee River, which is kind of an afterthought. If you park in the far eastern lots, I forget if those are the Yount and the Molitor lots. Anyways, the lots closest to downtown Milwaukee.
Okay, yeah.
You walk across the river and you don't really even know the river's there. It would instead orient buildings around the river on both sides, leaving some parking far away and then preserving all the preferred parking near the stadium. Another option would kind of be a hybrid of that, put some on preferred lots. And then the third option would ring Hellfair Field, which is the former county stadium footprint, with a series of buildings and eliminate a lot of the preferred parking in exchange for incorporating parking garages, which could have shared uses. So you might live there, but you also might share it with season ticket holders with preferred parking. The net loss after adding some parking garages and removing surface parking in all the scenarios was something like 800 to 1,000 parking spaces.
Which out of 12,000 is not that much.
Yeah, you probably feel that on like playoff games and all that. You'd be like, well, I wish we had a little bit more parking, and maybe you could temporarily convert gravel lots or more of Canal Street or something. But on most days, I would think, yeah, you wouldn't notice it. The Brewers have yet to actually comment on this plan because they only have the executive summary, not the full plan.
Mm-hmm. Remind me as far as the original or initial kind of feelings that the Brewers have expressed even before, I mean, way back when, as far as their desire to develop on that land.
If you go back to the 90s when the stadium was developed, there was actually a fight about this land with another company who didn't want the stadium. They owned the kind of the lingering assets of the defunct Milwaukee Road, and they wanted some entertainment retail complex. So the end stadium agreement prohibited actually the Brewers from developing any of the land. And part of that is it gets complicated because it's tax-exempt land, and how would you deal with that tax exemption? The report actually addresses that. But for decades now, we had essentially a moratorium on any development there. Even if the Brewers wanted it, they couldn't pursue it. I think it's also easy to see that, okay, they make money from parking. They get that, they actually get that money. It's not a big asset to maintain, so they're probably content doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're seeing Chicago, Atlanta, San Francisco, all these stadiums are now getting lots of development around them. Looking locally, the Green Bay Packers and the Milwaukee Bucks all benefit from ancillary revenue. I think the tide is probably turning that the Brewers are seeing that's a revenue opportunity that maybe wasn't there in the early 2000s.
Got it. All right. Well, I missed this conversation. I know Steve and Tracy talked about it a little bit yesterday, but as far as a new study that came out as far as everyone's favorite thing to fight about, what to do with 794.
Oh, I thought you were going to say the streetcar.
There was a street. I don't know. What do you think people like to fight about more, the streetcar or 794?
Whatever's in front of them on Facebook.
I don't know. All right. You tell us. What do you like to fight about more, 794 or the HOP? 855-616-1620. We'll talk about that with Jeremy and Janine from Urban Milwaukee after this.
Hey, this is WTMJ Steve for the Milwaukee weight loss. Yes, it's true. 45 pounds as of yesterday. On my journey since January, I initially wanted to lose 30, and then I said, oh, let's keep it going. Want to look better. Feel better is probably the most important part of that. I am back in the reduction phase, want to make an even 50 for the new year. If you're frustrated like I was with all the trendy stuff, the shots, the meds, the meals bar shakes thing, the yo-yo diets, as I call them, Milwaukee Weight Loss helped me lose the weight without all of that stuff. None of that stuff, just real results that last, and it reset my metabolism. So I have not been challenged, even with international trips and dinners out, to keep the weight off. That's the smart part. The weight comes off and stays off. So if it's doctor developed and natural, help thousands of people just like me and probably you lose up to 10 to 20% of their body weight in just 8 weeks. Ready to stop all that crazy stuff? Take control of your own life, smarter, faster, safer way to reach your ultimate goal and happiness quota, right? Milwaukee Weight Loss and their incredible team, and their coaches are outstanding, by the way. Schedule your free consultation today at 262-393-2334. That's 262-393-2334 or MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com.
Celebrate the spirit of the season in the Milwaukee Theater District.
experience these beloved classics. Milwaukee Ballet's The Nutcracker, Milwaukee Rep's A Christmas Carol, and don't miss Broadway favorites like How the Grinch Stole Christmas and The Pigeon Gets a Big Time Holiday Extravaganza. Savor Milwaukee's culinary scene from James Beard recognized restaurants and classic supper clubs to cozy outdoor seating under holiday lights. Make it a getaway. Stay in a hotel that feels just like home. Make plans today at visitmilwaukee.org.
Hey, there's free pizza today at the Mine Chef Family Restaurant in Hartford. WTMJ's John Mercure here. Every Thursday when you buy one pizza, you get a second pizza free. No coupons, no gimmicks. You put your seats in the seats and you get the deal. Buy 2 pizzas, get 2 free. Buy 10, get 10 free. You get the idea. You want 50 pizzas? You will get 50 more free pizzas. Business owners, managers, bring in pizza today for your loyal employees and clients. They'll really appreciate you. Call now. Pick up shortly. Your second pizza is free all day long. Coaches, bring in that team. Maybe football, soccer, cross country. Beef up on the free Mine Chef pizza. Your players will love that huge game room because all day long it's big food, big fun, super affordable team bonding. Bring in your family for free pizza today with plenty to take home for tomorrow. I love the pepperoni. No cook-up, no cleaning. The Mine Shaft in beautiful downtown Hartford and in Oshkosh right near EAA. Walk in today for your free Thursday pizza. Business owner managers, get on it. It's the Mine Shaft.
Wisconsin's Morning News is here for you every weekday morning starting at 6 a.m. Vince Petrano.
The Senate did pass a deal to end the government shutdown. Next, that heads to the House.
Eric Billstad.
Governor Evers says he's got no regrets for making sure nearly 700,000 Wisconsinites got their full food share benefits.
And traffic with Debbie Lozica.
Bit of a mess right now on 41 heading northbound.
The news you need to know. Wisconsin's Morning News on WTMJ.
Welcome back to Point Taken. I am Kristin Brey. Steve will be back tomorrow. We're talking to Jeremy Janine. And so there's different reports, right? As far as 794. There's conflating reports. How would you describe it?
I don't know that any of them conflict with one another. I just question, and this is what we're going to talk about, the methodology. So Tracy Johnson, who leads Commercial Association of Realtors Wisconsin, CARW. She's also a fill-in host on WTMJ.
She was here yesterday.
Yeah,
I missed her.
And so check out Point Taken from yesterday to listen to Tracy talk with Steve about their report and why they did it.
It was their report that they commissioned?
Yes, CARW commissioned this report. And the reason why is very good. They want kind of ideas about the impact of replacing 794 with the Boulevard, with slimming it down, or just rebuilding it exactly as is. They commissioned this report, and we'll talk about it in a minute. The Wisconsin Department of Transportation has traffic models now, so we can actually get some estimate of what they think the impacts will be of the different models, of the different replacement options. And then this group called Rethink 94, a year ago actually, came up with a plan of, well, okay, if this acreage opened up over 30 years, we think this development would occur, and then roughly this amount of property tax revenue would accrue to the city in sales tax revenue.
And so what is your issue with the pseudoscience, as you called it?
Well, I think all reports are, yes. In my comments I send to you and Steve and Jaslyn before every show, I noted that we should probably talk about the pseudoscience of, I want anyone that they see a report like this, and this has an eye-popping number, the Rethink 794 and an eye-popping number, think about how they generated that number. And in this case, I can't figure out how. I can see their math. I just can't figure out the why.
Which is telling because you just complimented the initial, what we've seen so far about the initial study for the beer district, as far as like you were impressed by how thorough that was. You seem less impressed with the model of this one.
I can look through the beer district study and see all the methodology. Okay, here's the floodplain, so we must respond to that. Here's the market, we must respond to that. In this one, they just said, okay, we think it would reduce economic growth by 1%. There's a 19-page summary. It never explains why 1%. And then they expect that to start immediately once the freeway is replaced with a boulevard. So every year they come up with a $560 million, air quote, cost for the project. And they never explain the how or the why that's a 1% drag. Maybe it could even be more than 1%, but they never explain the why, and they never attempt to explain the why. It's just there. And so anytime you see a report, ask yourself why or how or what might motivations be. And I would point out, because we talked, the tease for this segment was social media, things people are arguing about. If you go to Urban Milwaukee's comments, I assume WTMJ's Facebook comments, it's that 794 Boulevard is a conspiracy by commercial real estate developers. Well, it turns out the commercial real estate industry, at least one big group, has no interest in the removal option. So that's an interesting twist.
That is an interesting twist as far as, I don't know. Do you have, I mean, I know you're a reporter, but do you have strong opinions on 794 and what should happen?
I don't. I continue to want to see more and more data. And I feel like we took a really good step forward with WISDOT, even though I have some questions about some of their modeling, but that there is modeling that we can all understand and look at and then poke at and try and figure out more. But I feel like there's still questions to be answered about what actually are the logistics of flowing through that area. Can the street grid handle it? And then the question from WISDOT that they raised is I-43 would be in gridlock for every rush hour. How does that happen if you're removing this ancillary freeway?
Yeah, I was in gridlock last night for the first time. It was the first time since they started construction on by the stadium interchange. As I had to go to Delafield. I feel bad for anyone who's dealing with that every day. That was not fun.
It's going to be long. 2033. Buckle up.
All right. When we come back, Jeremy and Janine will still be here. So stay with us on Point Taken.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. Some federal workers are already back on the job after the government reopened last night. Congress and President Trump finalized a funding bill to end the longest shutdown in U.S. history. ABC's Rachel Scott has more on the toll.
After more than 6 weeks, the Congressional Budget Office estimating the shutdown cost the nation $11 billion. Hundreds of thousands of federal workers are being asked to return to work. They'll soon get back pay.
The backlog of canceled flights during the shutdown could take days to get back to normal. Air traffic controllers who were on the job without pay due to the shutdown are still facing a shortage. The daycare teacher detained by ICE officers last week has been released from immigration detention. Attorneys for Diana Santiana Galeano says she has returned to the home in Chicago and they're pursuing her immigration claims to stay in the U.S. And baristas for Starbucks launching an open-ended strike today at dozens of unionized locations demanding a better contract and benefits. This is ABC News.
Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time is 11:31. I'm Neil Doyle. Governor Tony Evers signing an executive order that reduces red tape around emergency assistance. The order bypasses state rules under the Department of Children and Families, making it easier for low-income parents facing homelessness or other crises to apply. State officials will still verify eligibility, but can also list hardship caused by the federal government shutdown as a reason. Groups of 2 to 5 people may receive up to $1,200 or $220 per person in a group of 6 or more. The field for Wisconsin's next governor could be growing. Greater Milwaukee Committee President Joel Brennan telling WTMJ he is considering running for the state's top job in 2026. Brennan was appointed by Governor Evers as the Secretary of the Wisconsin Department of Administration in 2018 before stepping down in January of 2022 to head up the GMC. Brennan is expected to make an official decision in the next 3 to 4 weeks. Brennan will be joining Wisconsin's Midday News coming up today at 12:15. The mother of a 3-year-old boy who died last week, now in custody. Milwaukee police arrested 34-year-old Zakita Joyner Murphy after her son DeQuarius Berry died last Thursday. Investigators say injuries found on Berry's body were intentional. Joyner Murphy was arrested under the suspected charge of child neglect. Some of those charges are still pending. Time for news about your money and the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Still red across the board. The Dow is down 372 points at 47,882. The NASDAQ is down 383, sitting at 23,000. And the S&P 500 down about 70 points at 6,782. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com. And let's take a look at the roads with your WTMJ Time Saver traffic. 94 eastbound, still a bit of a slowdown as you hit Blue Mound Road until you get past Brookfield. Also, 94 east, you're a bit slow at 70th Street through the Stadium Interchange. That's part of our construction zone there. So some issues, but otherwise just a few other disabled vehicles. You're moving along nicely across the rest of the system. And your WTMJ 5-day forecast. Sunny and mild today. We'll see a high up around 53 degrees. Tonight then partly cloudy, a low of 38. Sunny, breezy, and a little bit warmer Friday, a high of 58. And then we warm up even more into Saturday. Partly cloudy, but maybe see a slight chance for a shower, a high around 61. Cool back down on Sunday, partly cloudy with highs in the mid-40s. Mostly sunny Monday with a high of 43. Right now, 46 degrees in Green Bay. We're sitting at 47 in Port Washington, and it's 48 degrees in Milwaukee. I'm Neil Doyle, Outdoor Living Unlimited. WTMJ News Time is 11:34.
Don't think twice. Call Geis.
A great way to add value and curb appeal to your home is with a new LiftMaster or CHI maintenance-free garage door. Hey, it's WTMJ's Greg Matzik. A study by Remodelers Magazine reports that the average return on investment is an amazing 82%. Garage doors rank first among all home improvement projects. To see Geis's huge selection of doors, visit their showroom in Brookfield, or you can also visit their online showroom at geisdoors.com. Geis has everything from alley doors to custom wood designer doors and everything in between. Remember, for all your garage door needs, you call Geis at 262-784-4250. That number again, 262-784-4250. It's Geis. Visit them online at geisdoors.com.
Don't think twice. Call Geis.
Before you go looking for an area rug that you'll have to settle for because you think that the one you really want will be out of your budget, come to Design Exchange, where you'll find a formidable selection of Oriental, Persian, and other wool area rug choices at 25 to 70% off retail. This is Katie with Design Exchange, where discerning buyers with discriminating tastes come to find premium home decor on consignment at a value. Design Exchange in Heartland and Pewaukee.
Design Exchange.
In Heartland, you're going to find a focus on distinctive furniture, unique antiques, and original artwork, along with tasteful home decor that can fit almost any budget. In Pewaukee, the focus is on kitchen, outdoor, and garden decor, and all of it is priced at 25 to 40% off retail. This is Katie with Design Exchange, where discerning buyers with discriminating tastes come to find premium home decor on consignment at a value.
Design Exchange.
It's Point Taken. I am Kristin Brey. Steve will be back tomorrow. Talking to Jeremy Janine of Urban Milwaukee. And, all right, luxury tower developer hit with liens. What does that mean?
This is the shoe that I've been waiting to drop for, well, over a month now because it's November and this happened in September. The Neutral Edison project, this privately funded 31-story luxury apartment tower on the river. Big construction start in June, big ceremony to start it. The company has even bigger plans for across the street, and it all came tumbling down even before it could start going up in September when general contractor C.D. Smith walked off the job.
And it's just sitting there.
It's just, well, there's less of it sitting there now. We didn't talk about it last week, but the tower crane was removed from the site.
Okay.
And that would cost thousands of dollars a week to rent. So if you're not using it, like, get rid of it, but it's going to cost thousands of dollars to install it again. So it being removed is a good indicator that nothing's going to happen for a while. Well, now we have this other indicator that, things are real ugly behind the scenes. So this is about a $200 million project. Neutral, the developer out of Madison, has only built one other building. It's called Baker's Place in Madison on the east side. I believe it's near Bree's Stevens Field on East Washington Avenue. A mass timber building as well. The building is built. It's operating. People are living in it. So C.D. Smith built that building as well. They filed a $4.1 million lien for non-payment there. So that includes what they claim they weren't paid and interest. And then a flooring company, Saragans Flooring Coverings, also filed a $200,000 lien. Now, I thought when the tower crane came down that maybe this wasn't going to head this way because that building's property taxes previously weren't paid. But when I checked 2 weeks ago, all of a sudden they were paid. This withholding tax debt to the state was paid. So I was like, well, maybe they're getting things squared away. But no, because the biggest shoe of all dropped, C.D. Smith filed a $10.2 million lien against the Milwaukee project. So that means they think they're owed $10 million for... They haven't been paid something like $8 million, and they claim now interest on their invoices for another $2 million. So that building is not coming out of the ground anytime soon.
Has there been any word from Neutral?
We got a statement right away, and C.D. Smith kind of jointly sort of signed on to it. They just they referred everyone to Neutral and said that would be our comment too. That blamed things like tariffs, and I questioned the tariffs thing because construction started in June. And if we remembered, I forget what
Liberty Day?
Yeah.
Liberation Day?
Liberation
Day was in April.
Was in April.
Yeah.
So you knew about the tariffs. And so if you had any concern about commodity prices spiking, and that is a huge thing in construction, you would have known about that already. So was your estimating that rose glass colored and tinted? And did C.D. Smith go along with that with you, or were they expressing concerns? I know on certain projects like the Couture, a big thing was negotiating with the general contractor, Findorf in that case, like this hard number that they both agreed, we'll pay you to build it for this price. You agree to build it for this price. That clearly isn't what happened in this situation, where there must have been some amount of design build. So now we have, quote, value engineering happening, which is a code word for making things cheaper. They were going to enclose some outdoor decks and simplify the facade a little bit. But I don't understand if any of that's actually going to happen, or if this developer is just broke.
So if let's say the developer is just broke, what would have to go into transferring the project to a different company? Because it is, like looking at where the initial foundation has been built by the river, like it's prime real estate to build something there, right? So it'd be a shame to just have it sit dormant for another decade while this is caught up in legal issues.
Yeah.
But could it just be like transferred?
So it's all privately owned, and it could be sold to another developer. Now with these liens filed against it, though, the question is, well, if you can only sell it for $4 million, is Neutral still in the hole for $6 million? And their plans are definitely worth something, that another developer could buy the plans and build the same building. We've seen that happen in Milwaukee before. It happened a couple times during the Great Recession. That's certainly an option. I don't know how if more liens come in and start stacking up, the desire of Neutral to actually sell the site, or if we end up with a bankruptcy court end up selling the site, or a receiver coming in, selling it for them. We'll see what happens there, but we continue to watch it. It's not getting any prettier.
Yeah. Okay. All right. When we come back, wheel tax. Sexy.
Sexy.
All right. He's Jeremy Janine. I am Kristin Brey. Stay with us.
You're not just a job number as a Sidex customer. They've been family-owned since 1988, and they treat you as part of their family. Upgrade and transform your current bathroom space with Sidex Windows Siding and Bath. They have seasoned design consultants with 10 to 30 years of experience. The owner, Joe, is honoring his dad's legacy with top-tier products and expert craftsmanship. It's Sidex, the best in the business. Get a free shower door upgrade when you mention WTMJ. Visit sidexremodel.com. The holiday season is a magical time of year to visit Lake Geneva. Embark on an enchanting Santa cruise on the lake. Take in a parade of trees and marvel at the world's tallest glass tree, built before your very eyes. Enjoy holiday shopping in a historic downtown. Chill out with festive food and libations in an igloo under the stars. Or find adventure on a zipline, ski hill, or snow-covered nature trail. Make Lake Geneva your place for holiday fun this year. Check out visitlakegeneva.com today for all the festive details.
Does your home need a refresh? Get it looking gorgeous and ready for all your holiday gatherings with the Ken Michaels Furniture pre-holiday sale. With discounts starting at 30% off on living, dining, and bedroom furniture that you can customize. Order now and get it in time for your Christmas party. Make a home that reflects your family's unique style. Stop in today at Ken Michaels Furniture on Capitol Drive in Brookfield and Highway 100 in Greenfield. Give yourself the gift of sound sleep with a mattress set from Ken Michaels Furniture and Milwaukee Mattress. Handcrafted in our Milwaukee factory, our mattresses are custom built to your specifications. We offer special sizing, waterproofing, extra cushioning, and a variety of other options to accommodate your needs. Buy a mattress and a box spring set this week and get free delivery. For the best sleep of your life, stop into Ken Michaels Furniture on Highway 100 in Greenfield and Capitol Drive in Brookfield.
WTMJ's Eric Bilstead here for Tri-County Contracting. You ever wonder how your house would look if it were a different color, or had a new roof, or maybe a splashy front door? Well, you can see for yourself just by going to TriCountyContractingWI.com. Add a photo of your house and design a new look. Then call them when you're ready. TriCountyContractingWI.com. It's worry-free roofing, siding, and windows. TriCountyContractingWI.com.
The green and gold runs deep, and we've got your football fix. From Lambeau to the living room, Wisconsin's Midday News brings you the experts on and off the field to break down every showdown from Titletown.
All these guys have a journey, and all these guys have a story, and it's fun to follow those journeys and learn more about how they got to where they are.
So grab your cheesehead and lock into Football Fix, powered by Flanner's Home Entertainment, every Wednesday at 12:15, only on Wisconsin's Midday News.
When you're due for tire service, visit richlawns.com for the location nearest you.
We'll give you a free flat tire repair on every tire we install. No questions asked. I'm Brett Matchke with Rich Lawns. You're due for service.
Rich Lawns.
Welcome back to Point Taken. I am Kristin Brey. Steve will be back tomorrow. We're talking to Jeremy Janine, who, fun fact, you and I were at the same wedding last Friday, and I appreciated the fact that you were in the wedding, and so you still made it to the budget meeting at City Hall, and you surprised all the aldermen that you were in your tux for the wedding.
Absolutely. I didn't have time to change. So there I am at City Hall texting Brett. Brett and Leah got married. Congratulations to the two of them. That, hey, I'm going to be there, but it's going to be right at 2 because they're not done yet, and I'm going to have to step out of this meeting a little early.
All right. So besides you watching the budget hearings in a tux, what were some of the things that came out of that last week?
Not a huge change from where we were before, which is that Marina Dimitrievich's big omnibus amendment added library hours, did that pay raise for city employees, big $6 million amendment there, and a bunch of other small things, down payment assistance, right to eviction counsel. So that still went through. Peter Burgellis successfully had an amendment. We've talked about the fire truck problem, that city's not buying enough new ones, so its fleet is aging. They're literally breaking down now, as happened a month ago. Peter Burgellis added funding, so the city had funding, Mayor Cavalier Johnson had funding to buy 1. Peter Burgellis added $8 million, which will buy 4 more. There's the issue that just a couple of years ago, these things costed $1.5 million each. Now they're $2 million each. Well, when you got to buy 40 of them every 15 years, that $500,000 increase eats at you real quick. The one thing that happened shortly after I left, and this goes back to something that happened 2 months ago now, the mayor in his budget proposed a wheel tax increase, and he proposed a $10 increase. But to meet the state timeline to go into effect, the council had to approve the wheel tax increase before it approved the budget. It would have had to do it by essentially late October, very early November. They didn't meet that deadline, and they're like, we're blaming the mayor for this. This $250,000 delay, basically 1 month delay, is the mayor's fault. But then actually at the budget adoption meeting, instead of doing a $10 increase, they did an $11 increase and paid for the whole increase. Like, they could have voted earlier and only done a $10 increase, but they delayed. So now everyone's wheel tax will go up more because they delayed. Now in the future, that'll all even out several years from now. But in the short run, they blame the mayor and then increase the cost themselves. So that's a strange outcome.
That is, because now when will it go into effect?
I believe March 1st is the date.
Okay.
So they missed the February 1st cutoff by missing the November date.
And then, so it's a month difference?
Yes. But instead of when you go to renew your license plates, it'll be the city share will be $41 instead of $40.
Got it. Which is interesting because I feel like that was the most recent report from Wisconsin Policy Forum, is that they just came out with something as far as more than 50%? Or what was their finding as far as how many municipalities have a wheel tax?
Let me pull it up.
I just saw the headline and I was like, oh, we've been talking about wheel tax with Jeremy lately, so it caught my eye.
I edited an article by Graham Kilmer right before coming over that Milwaukee County is considering a wheel tax next year. So that the state, and I'm kind of cribbing from Graham's article now, it legalized wheel taxes in 1967. But by 2010, only 4 local governments had actually used the tool. And the way you can use the tool is you can charge any amount you want as long as you spend at least the amount raised on road construction, road repair, or transit. Now, in Milwaukee's case, it's spending about $90 million on that next year, and the wheel tax is going to raise something like $12 million. So it could make the wheel tax $400 and still not meet the cap.
Oh, wow. Okay.
The wheel tax doesn't bring in a lot. But now 43% of state residents live in a community with a wheel tax. That is according.
So I was close when I said 50.
Yeah. So and it's not communities. It's 43% of residents. So Milwaukee obviously tilts that balance, Milwaukee County. But they're in communities big and small. There's actual towns that are doing it. So Wisconsin's lowest level of government, basically unincorporated, there's at least 2 towns that have wheel taxes now.
And I'm assuming that the finding or the cause of all of this is because we know that a lot of municipalities beyond just Milwaukee are struggling because Act 12, while helped, was not sufficient for all the different services that cities are supposed to be providing.
The Policy Forum report actually goes back even to 2005 and the decision to de-index the gas tax from inflation. So Wisconsin's gas tax used to float with inflation.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's just frozen at, I think, like 16 cents a gallon. And so obviously your purchasing power reduces every year. wheel taxes actually have the same problem, where the Milwaukee County and City of Milwaukee wheel tax, since they've been adopted, their purchasing power has gone down by, this according to the policy form, about $1 million per year.
Got it. All right. All right. Let's take one more break. I just thought, yes, one more break. And then, because there's more fun happening at the lakefront. So we'll talk about 2 new festivals that are coming. So yeah, stick with us. This is Point Taken.
We all have one. That junk drawer, old keys, dead batteries, a phone charger from 2008. But somewhere in there are the tools you actually need. They're just buried in the clutter. For many people, their finances look the same way. Scattered, outdated, unproductive. A financial junk drawer. At Annex Wealth Management, we help you clean out that junk drawer. Organize what matters, eliminate what doesn't, and plan with purpose. And we'll do it as a fee-only fiduciary. Start today at AnnexWealth.com. That's Annex Wealth Management.
Get the beat of the Bucks straight from a fan favorite and Bucks legend.
Welcome to the fantastic voyage. Marcus Johnson, the captain of this vessel.
Tap into Here District with Marcus Johnson, a Bucks Plus audio production.
My first mate, Chris Johnson, the only father and son tandem.
Your weekly pulse on the Milwaukee Bucks and conversations with the biggest names in basketball. This week on the pod, Marcus and Chris talk to Yahoo Sports senior NBA writer Dan Devine. Find Here District now on Bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, or wherever you get your podcast.
Get 2 mattresses for the price of 1.
Whoa, what are you doing?
We don't do sales at Penny Mustard.
I know.
So how can we offer 2 mattresses for the price of 1?
Because with a flippable, 2-sided foam or coil mattress from Penny Mustard, it's like having 2 mattresses for the price of 1.
You'll give each side more time to breathe.
And your mattress will last twice as long.
See? 2 for 1.
2-sided mattresses, available every day at Penny Mustard Furnishings.
Showrooms in Milwaukee and Chicago.
PennyMustard.com.
It's the biggest savings event of the year. Menards, 11% rebate ends Thanksgiving Day. Save big money on everything you need for any project. We've got something for everyone. Homeowners, contractors, DIYers, the kids, and even grandma. Hurry, Menards 11% rebate ends Thanksgiving Day.
Save big money at Menards.
11% mail-in rebate is a merchandise credit check. Good on future in-store purchases. See Menards.com for details.
At Hazelden Betty Ford, treating mental health isn't just about breaking old patterns. It's about braving new ones. As the leader in alcohol and drug treatment for 75 years, we know caring for addiction, anxiety, depression, and trauma goes hand in hand. We're here for you with new tools when life breaks down. Discover your path to better mental health at hazeldenbettyford.org/Wisconsin. Sponsored by Hazelden Betty Ford Foundation.
Do the holiday parties, tailgating, and family get-togethers have your liver working overtime? Let Active Liver help give your liver some relief at Amazon or Vitacost.com, CVS, Meijer Grocery, or ShopRite.
Alleviate your pain, rejuvenate your life.
Rejuvenex.com. Tune in to Wisconsin's Midday News with Greg Matzik and Jessica Ty.
Milwaukee County leaders moving forward with the budget for 2026. The County Board of Supervisors approving the $1.3 billion spending plan.
Bringing you the latest in news, sports, traffic, and weather.
A state legislative committee unanimously orders an audit of the Department of Public Instruction's handling of misconduct allegations.
Every weekday from noon until 3 p.m. Only on WTMJ. WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station.
Couple minutes left with Jeremy Janine of Urban Milwaukee, and why not end it on a high note with 2 new festivals for the city of festivals. All right, what's going on for next year and the year after?
So we've got 2 things announced. Freshwater Food and Wine Festival, that'll take place 2026 at the Henry Meyer Festival Grounds, the Summerfest Park, September 19th through 20th. And that's kind of threading a needle between Irish Fest, Mexican Fiesta, and there's Kristin knows well, Milwaukee Oktoberfest with her husband hosts now at the festival grounds. And then in 2027, Rock and Roll Festival is coming.
Ooh.
And these are both being put on by Wes Shaver, who is a event promoter, bar owner, just man
But
about
also,
town.
like, most notably, the organizer of Pride Fest.
Yes, now Pride Fest. He's become more and more involved in that in the past 5 years. And then Chef Autumn Pollock, all of a sudden that became a tongue twister on me.
Yes.
He's co-producing the whole thing with Wes.
Oh, fun. So it's both. So both events are theirs. Both are going to be at Henry Meyer Festival Grounds, And I'm guessing one has more to do, like one is going to make more high-end, like seafood, and one is rock and roll? Or what's kind of the pitch for both?
They talk about building on the city's reputation as this culinary hub with the Top Chef popularity, and Adam, of course, has been on lots of different cooking shows. That's the Food and Wine event set for this or next year now. And then in 2027, that's building the rock and roll, somehow touches on the city's automotive history as well. So I'll be interested to hear that.
All right.
More about that.
Interesting. Very cool. All right. What else are you covering this week?
I am halfway through. I thought I'd have it done in time, but this policy footnotes article, which is always a fun one to write because you can tell what different council members are actually thinking about different stuff, and it ties together a lot of my reporting. So I've got that coming up. We've got a lot of other fun stuff coming up in Milwaukee that Sophie's working on, and then Graham Kilmer's doing his normal great county government coverage.
Are you going to give any teases to what the fun stuff Sophie gets to do is?
I can't because there are scoops that are coming together, and I don't know when they'll be delivered.
Okay. All right. Well, we still got a minute and a half.
Well, we got plenty of time. Let's see what else is on the list. The city is moving to crack down on unsanctioned nightclubs. There's a little bit of a legal loophole, which is that if you have an occupancy permit and have an assembly hall, essentially a permit, but part of your occupancy permit, and you're not selling alcohol directly, you can kind of host a nightclub. And that's not the intention of anyone.
Wait, say that again? So as long as you're not selling alcohol, it's just like a gathering space and you can call it a nightclub?
We were at a wedding last week. Essentially, that could turn into a nightclub. Brett and Leah, instead of inviting their friends and family, could have just charged money at the door for people to come in and handed them lots of booze. And that's happening on Fondler.
Handed them but not sell it.
Correct. They could charge us money in different ways than the selling the alcohol, which could skirt around some of the tavern regulations.
Oh.
Which is that the tavern regulations are where these things normally get shut down. So now the city is writing some new ordinances, updating ordinances to try and tackle this problem.
Is it like a pretty prevalent issue?
With one person who, it's my understanding that the landlord is even taken to boarding up the door at this point to try and keep this nightclub from reforming. That there's just this loophole that this person keeps doing it because the venue owner is allowing him, but the landlord doesn't want it.
Oh, interesting. We should have gotten into that deeper. Maybe we'll talk about it more next week.
It's coming still. It's coming.
All right. Jeremy, Janine, as always, thank you for your great reporting. Thank you for spending time with us. Steve will be back tomorrow. We'll be just Steve and I. Joe and Bill have the day off, but I hope you have a great day. News is next.
I'm here to help. This is your WTMJ Fix-It Show host, David Nason, with expert advice for our listeners. If you're dealing with leaks, stains, or cracks in your basement, it's time to call my trusted friends at Accurate Basement Repair. And you know what? You'll get a free expert evaluation on me. You just tell them David Nason, the Fix-It guy, told me to call. Don't let basement issues mess up your home. Trust Accurate Basement Repair to get the job done right. And again, that's Accurate Basement Repair.